Hi there. I'm going to show you how to make a chicken broth. I cut up a chicken today and I used my brand new cleaver. It's actually a Zen, and I could do a tutorial on this, but I'm not going to. I was very, very careful with this while I cut up the chicken. And while I washed it, I was super careful because it's extremely sharp, and I thought, I don't want to cut myself. But I ended up doing that anyway. When I dried it with a paper towel, I just slid my finger on the bottom of this and I cut myself. I just took off the Band-Aid. So if you're looking for a good cutting utensil, Zen has some really, really good items, like knives. I bought this. This is my first cleaver I've ever had. So I did cut this chicken up, and I am going to fry it later today. But this morning I'm going to use the back, the carcass, and I'm going to make a soup. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut up celery, an onion or a half an onion, and some carrots. Called a mirepoix, and we're going to start with the celery. And so I have a couple of different items I could use. I could use this knife, or I could try this new cleaver that I got. Either way, you're going to chop up the celery first. I do use the celery leaves as well. And this cleaver really works fast and good. You just have to keep your fingers away from it. I should do a commercial for Zen. It's a really, really good Japanese cleaver. It's actually the metal, the steel, the stainless steel is from Japan. And they actually manufacture this in Taiwan. So I've never bought a Zen product, but I can tell just from this that it's really good. Super good quality. It can cut, if you want it to cut through chicken bones, but it can cut up a chicken really well. It's good for meat and vegetables as well. Okay, next we can chop up a couple of carrots. I have like 3. You can use however many you want. And I like to kind of cut the carrots in half sometimes. So the next is I do have a little bit of parsley, which is good to put in, and I found a shallot that needs to be used, so I'm going to use a half of onion and a whole shallot. Okay, here we go. And then you can use a couple of cloves of garlic, 2 or 3. I'm going to use 2. Garlic is better using a smaller knife than a cleaver. That's like a little bit much. So I won't add the garlic until I have the broth cooking, but the onions, the shallots, and I won't put the parsley in yet either, but all of this is going to go in the pot together. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. Okay, the first thing we do is add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil after you have your vegetables chopped up. And this is what you call a mirepoix. It's a French name for onions, celery, and carrots. So we're going to put all that in the pan. And we're going to saute this for probably 10 minutes on low. So it cooks down a little. We're going to have to add a little more oil. So this will cook really low and just cook down for about 15 minutes. This is a French name. It originates in France. And what it basically does to the vegetables is it sweats them. So you can see it cooking on a low heat. So it's usually 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, it's been about 12 to 13 minutes, and you can see that it's cooked down and it's sweated it. So it's cooked down, and now you're ready to add your chicken water and salt, pepper, and I put garlic powder and the parsley and garlic. So you're going to turn up the heat to get this kind of to a boil to start off with. You won't be boiling it the whole time, but to start off with, you're going to bring it to a boil. You're going to add the parsley and the garlic. And you're going to add like salt to taste. It depends on, well, you have to taste it. So I'm going to put a couple of teaspoons in to start of salt and maybe a half a teaspoon of pepper. And then I just sprinkle a little bit of garlic powder in. Even though there's fresh garlic in it, I always add a little bit of garlic powder. And through this process, you're just going to have to taste it. Everybody's taste buds are different. Okay, and last you're going to add the carcass of the chicken. And that's all going to cook together. I put a little bit of oregano or Italian seasoning in, but very, very little. Just a sprinkle like that of Italian seasoning. Okay, this could be used as a soup or a stock. I've decided I'm going to use it as a stock, because usually when I make a soup, I'll put, like chicken legs or thighs or something in it. And in this case, I just put a large back and carcass in here. So I've decided I'm going to use this as a stock for cooking other items. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is strain this. So I'm going to do like this. And as you can see, there's the broth on the bottom. So it's very, very healthy. There's all kinds of nutrients and vitamins from not only the chicken broth, but the vegetables. So this is going to be really good. You could eat the vegetables if you want, because they're good. Or you can just basically use them to make the broth. It's totally up to you. And there, that's, now what we're going to do is start pouring it in the jar. and this is the last step to preserving our broth. You pour it, I'm using a canning ladle type thing. You just pour it right in. And this is a way you can store it. Of course, you're going to let it cool. And after it's completely cool, then you can refrigerate it and use this for all kinds of meals that you want to do, like sauces and so forth. So this is the finished product. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on making your own chicken broth or soup.